Breaking news this morning. Look out below. Take a look at U.S. stock futures. All markets on edge and dropping. These futures just took a notable turn downward again on the heels of the worst day Wall Street has seen in 5 years. Now, right now, futures aren't quite as bad as yesterday, almost as bad, but they're still not looking good at all. And they just dropped more on the news that China is striking back, retaliatory tariffs, big.
Can you walk us through the numbers? And is there any positive take on this?
Well, I can answer the second question first. I don't think there's a single positive take on this. This is all just bad. It's bad, as we talked about before, for inflation. It's bad for economic growth. It's bad for everything.
So, of course, mainstream media is doing its thing, and I just played a couple of clips there. There's more, of course, but I'm going to spare you guys that because I don't want to make this video crazy long. It's already going to be decently long in and of itself. But everything from mainstream media is just all panic, all despair, all bad. Everything that Trump does with the tariffs, it's all terrible. It's going to crash everything. But the thing about this is, Democrats used to agree. And I'm going to play some clips for you guys today to show that because, you know, I come with all the receipts. And some of these Democrats are still in office today as we speak. And yet, now that Trump is doing it, it's all of a sudden this horrible, terrible, no good, very bad idea. But when they proposed the idea, it was fantastic. First up, Obama.
We had a tire case in which they were flooding us with cheap domestic tires or cheap Chinese tires. And we put a stop to it. And as a consequence, saved jobs throughout America. I have to say that Governor Romney criticized me for being too tough in that tire case. Said this wouldn't be good for American workers and that it would be protectionist. But I tell you, those workers don't feel that way. They feel as if they had finally an administration who was going to take this issue seriously.
So there you heard Barack Obama himself. And if that's not good enough, because I did say there is some folks who are still politicians to this day. Here's Nancy Pelosi from 96. Check it out.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker, and how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo. As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue on the basis of economics alone, indeed, China should not receive most favored nation status for several reasons that I'd like to go into now. I'd like to call the attention of our colleagues to this chart on the status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China, the 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996. Since the Tiananmen Square massacre, this figure has increased 1,000%, from $3.5 billion then to about $34 billion now. In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? On exports, China only allows certain industries into China, of U.S. Industries into China, and therefore only 2% of U.S. exports are allowed into China. On the other hand, the U.S. allows China to flood our markets with a third of their exports, and that'll probably go over 40%. And it's limitless because we have not placed any restriction. In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade. The president in his statement requesting this special waiver said that China trade supports 170,000 jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least.
So yeah, two things. Y'all remember in Trump's chart that he put up on Liberation Day, they tried to say some of the numbers that he had put up were false, 30-something%. There's no way. Well, here's 35 right here. Nancy Pelosi put that up. And I can't lie. That Nancy Pelosi that you just saw right there, that woman, not the woman today, but that Nancy Pelosi sounds like somebody I would actually vote for, doesn't it? Crazy how that works. Absolutely insane. That was in 96. 96. It goes even further though. Okay. You guys want to hear something from Bernie Sanders? Here, check it out.
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America, because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, healthcare, pensions, throw them out on the street, because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good paying jobs in America as we shut down plants. We move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country. And anyone who goes shopping in a mall knows how difficult it is today to find the product made in America. But that is the philosophy. And I have to say, in that regard, the champion, and he is honest on this one. Senator McCain has been criticized recently for not being the most honest candidate we have seen in terms of his ads and so forth. He has been honest on this one. He is the lead advocate of unfettered free trade. And that's an also important part of this right-wing ideology, that it is good for America that corporations can go to China and bring products back into this country.
Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. All of these clips of Democrats saying that free trade is actually terrible and we need to start bringing jobs back to America. We need to reciprocate what they're doing to us. But now all of a sudden, all of that is just a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad idea. Absolutely insane.
President Trump ran on tariffs. What we just saw was a president who did what he said he was going to do. Every single day, the media said Trump is running on tariffs, and people said, we know that. Trump is running on bringing back manufacturing. People said, we know that. And they went and pulled the lever for him. This is mind-boggling to me that the media is focused on pain. Listen to me. I heard someone earlier today on another network say that countries send us wine, cheese, and Mercedes, and we give them a piece of paper, as if like we're getting the better end of the bargain. People sweat. They work hard. They sacrifice families. Families are broken up. People commit crimes for this piece of paper. It represents an investment, our life, our energy. It represents a lot. So we send it over there. We get all this plastic crap on this table. You know how that money comes back to this country? They buy this building. They buy our farms. This system is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. We have to figure it out. So if the American people can make a short-term, hey, that beach ball costs 50 cents more, I won't buy it. This is what's really amazing to me. And unfortunately, I hear it on all our network and that a lot of networks that somehow we all want a good GDP. We all want a good economy. But does it have to come at the expense? Is it patriotic to always stay in debt? Is it patriotic to spend my entire paycheck so that the economy is good? Is it patriotic so my kids can't afford to go to college? I don't have a retirement. I don't have a decent home. Is that patriotic? Is our patriotism tied to Wall Street, or should it be tied to our own personal ability to achieve the American dream? We need to rethink all of this.
Facts. We have let Democrats sell us off. Absolutely just sell us off. And, I came across this post. I want to read it with you guys. It says, the question no Democrat can answer. If tariffs are so bad for an economy, why do more than 180 countries have tariffs on U.S. products? Perhaps try using critical thinking skills instead of anti-Trump rhetoric. I agree with that 1,000%. Because the same folks on the left that are yelling and screaming, the very people that they voted for, like Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama, all were talking about the same thing not long ago. And I just showed y'all the clips. I'm not just talking out of my behind on this. And then, of course, as a Republican, you got to deal with BS like this. I'll put them on the big screen. Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, and Susan Collins voting with Democrats to block tariffs on Canada. That's what we have to deal with. And to that I say, I'm done. I used to like a guy like Rand Paul. Not anymore. He actually has a great Liberty score. His Liberty score is like an A+. It's like an A. It's like 93%. But nah, Rand Paul, you're done. He's not up for re-election until 28, so it's gonna be quite a while. Susan Collins could be gone. I think she's up in 26. Mitch McConnell was already cooked. He don't care. He don't care. But Rand Paul, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, y'all done. You're done. You're getting voted out. You're getting voted out. That is the only way that anything is going to ever change, is if we start making examples out of these so-called Republicans the same way we did with Liz Cheney. And no, I'm not threatening anybody physically. I want to make that clear before somebody tries to twist my words. No, I'm not threatening anybody's life. I'm talking about voting these people out of office. That is it. That is all. I'm not endorsing any type of harm to these folks in any way, shape, or form. Just because I don't like somebody doesn't mean that I want to harm them in any way, shape, or form. Okay? I just want to make that 1000% clear. Talking about voting these people out of office. They will be gone. Out of office. Rand Paul included. I'm done. Like I said, I personally feel that is the only way that anything is going to change. When we, the people, start making examples out of these Republicans the same way we did Liz Cheney, once that becomes mainstream, then we'll have a true new Republican Party. The way that it's supposed to be. Then you won't have stuff like this. Democrats don't vote with us, so why should we go and vote with them? I know somebody's gonna say, Rich, we shouldn't do the eye for the eye stuff. Yeah, we should. We played nice for far too long. We seen where that got us. Almost in a hellhole for a lifetime. Okay? They tried to import a whole new voting block to replace us, or to replace their base, to replace a lot of the black folks that aren't voting for them anymore. And we would have been stuck in it. Nope. Done with that. Done with that. Shout out to Kate because she posted this. Let me get this straight. Republicans haven't passed Trump's executive orders. They haven't stripped the D.C. courts or passed the SAVE Act, but the Senate had time to vote quickly on Tim Kaine's bill to end tariffs on Canada. So Democrats can get their America Last bills passed via votes with the help of Republicans, but we can't get the Republicans but we can't get the Republicans we gave a majority to pass the America First agenda. And Kate, to that I say, we need to do exactly what I just said. All of these folks, a lot of these folks, need to be voted out in the numbers that we did with Liz Cheney. That is the only way we're going to send a message. This whole Mr. Nice Guy stuff, it does not work. It hasn't worked. At a certain point, you got to do something different. We all know the old saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing but expecting a different result. Yes, we're going to play eye for an eye. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Like I said, Rand Paul is somebody that I liked. I liked Rand Paul. Not anymore. Not anymore. And that is something that I won't forget. He's not up until 28, but I'm not going to forget. Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, they're out of there. And anybody else who thinks that voting with Democrats is a great idea, you'll be voted out too. Go and join their party for all I care. But we're done with that. We're done. But yeah, man, y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions on this. Talk to me. Peace and love. I'm out.